So this is all plastic. Holy shit. That's a river you're looking at. I've never seen this amount of trash anywhere. It's really hard to comprehend, to see this amount of trash in one place. I've never seen anything like it, and it's profoundly sad, and I think it's even more sad if you realize what a beautiful country it is where you're in, and you see rainforests, forests, you see beautiful valleys and mountains and volcanoes, and then you look down at this river, and surely there are literal garbage dumps that are cleaner than this river. It's just really sad. So this is really the bank of the river here, and it's quite astounding to think that if we estimate there may be 10 million to 30 million kilos of plastic flowing through this gorge every single year. If that were true, on one hand that means it's about 10 times more than all the plastic that's being put in the ocean from all the rivers in the United States. And secondly, it means that equates to roughly 1 to 3% of all the plastic entering the oceans every year, which is just mind-boggling. Just one river emitting perhaps as much as 3% of all the plastic that's going to the oceans, passing right through this gorge. So the story of the Rio Motagua is quite a special one, and it starts in Guatemala City. Most people in Guatemala live on the highlands. Guatemala City is a major town, and most of the waste gets brought to a landfill on the edge of the city, which incidentally is also the start of this river here, the Rio Las Vacas. So what happens is that when it rains, part of that trash flows off this landfill into the river. Then, of course, you also have poorer communities along the river where you don't have any waste management, you don't have any trucks collecting their waste, so naturally what they do is they also use this already very dirty river as their waste management tool. You don't see any difference if you put your trash in the river. At the same time, there's also illegal dumping happening, and actually we see some of that happening right here. Then it comes down here, it arrives here at this hydropower site where during flash floods there's just so much water that actually the water overtops the dam. So then the trash runs down the river, and then a few tens of kilometers downstream here enters the Rio Motagua. We're here now at the point where the Rio Las Vacas, the tributary, meets the main branch of the river called the Rio Motagua. So down there is the Motagua, and up there is the Las Vacas, just to get the name straight. And really that's where the trash flows into the river and then heads all the way to the Caribbean Sea. And the amount of trash that you see just laying here, it's absolutely incredible. flying in here, it's such a beautiful country. So, you know, the hills, the valleys, absolutely gorgeous. You don't see this from the sky. This just looks like pebbles or rocks. And then once you land, you're basically standing on a rubbish dump. So, and what's interesting is that if you look upstream at that confluence, at the Rio Motagua, it's a clean river.
Here you can see, if you look at the riverbanks, this is how a river is supposed to look like. Completely clean. No trash down here. So this is the future of the Rio Motagua.
The dirtiness, the pollutedness starts when this tributary enters the Rio Motagua. Then what happens is that the trash comes down. There's these two fractions of waste. You have the stuff that is not very buoyant, that kind of sticks to the riverbed and the banks. And the closer you get to the ocean, the less of that you see, because the stuff that easily gets stuck will get stuck quite soon already. And then what's left behind are the really buoyant objects. So the styrofoam, the bottles, the shoes, which just race down this river hundreds of kilometers to the ocean.
The mouth of the Rio Motagua. Hola.
Where it then enters the ocean, the majority at beaches, ends up back on shore quickly after leaving the river. And that's what you then see is miles and miles of Caribbean coastline being covered in a thick layer of trash.
Horrible. Horrible. Yeah, so here we see trash that washed out of the Rio Motagua, and a lot of it ends up here on the coastline of basically the Caribbean coast of Guatemala. Keeps going. Yeah.
If you look closely, it's predominantly packaging. So you see a lot of bottles, styrofoam, but you also see a surprising amount of shoes. Now, American football, see a lot of toys as well. And let's see, what else do we find here? There's another recognizable object. This another toy pig or piggy bank of some sort. Some kind of soap dispenser. Many shoes. It's one of the more surprising things. It's markers. You have cutlery. More toys. It's crazy. So I think that's the story of the Rio Motagua. It starts in Guatemala City and it ends in the Caribbean Sea. And seeing that entire journey in person was, for me, a confirmation that it's important to understand that story to design the right solution for it. And I think that's what we need to design our capabilities for with the river team is understanding these rivers and then finding the right solution. I mean, the story here is very clear why this is such a uniquely polluted river. It's a unique story, and I truly think this river can be restored to its former glory.